Greetings. Greeting from Mystic Moons. How are you in this cold, cold northeastern type chill? Snow outside, it's over a foot high, and it's more and more is coming. And it's only the beginning of winter. Anyway, so I hope everyone is nice and warm and comfortable today. And are you prepared to do a little celebrity gossip searching? It's always nice to go to somebody else's life when they're more in the news than you are, or just more interesting, or they're in a warmer place. In my case, they're in a warmer place. We've always heard a lot overexposed Taylor Swift and overexposed boyfriend. Well, it's always been the cheerleader Taylor Swift and the jock Travis. And the roar of the crowd, the whole scene, and the people going, "Oh, he's so great, so great, so great," and Segoy, Segoy, Segoy. Taylor, we're picking such a hunk. Well, lately the news hasn't been so crowd roaring, hasn't been such gladiator. Travis, Travis, Travis. And lately you also have been hearing a little bit about, well, at least I struck the jackpot. Instead of talking about like the wins he's had on the field, Travis Kelce, we've heard about the win that he's made with Taylor Swift's heart. And of course, close to her heart is the money she has. I mean, she's a billionaire. Okay, Travis is no small potatoes, but 115 mil. When you're used to spending millions and billions, well, it's just not the same. It's just not the same. It's not the same. And two, now, Mr. Taylor Swift has been content with that nickname for a while. But at the meantime, he was calling his own. He was running on the field. He was getting the crowd's applause, all stuff like that. And it made him feel really like a champion, like we are the champions, like that type of thing. But now lately he hasn't been the champ. In fact, he's been on a loser streak. And we all know how Taylor, in the past anyway, has felt about when one of her close buddies starts getting in the skids and a little controversial. She's not exactly known for one to hold up the ship, or, to put a pillow in for soft landing if you're having troubles. And Taylor's boyfriend, Travis, seems to be having a lot of trouble on the court. Now, we've all been through his anger management, his tantrums, his drink binging, his this, his that, his this, his that. I mean, we've been growing up with Travis. Right? We've been growing up with him. So, now that he's on a loser streak, he's been talking about Taylor, his beloved, like in sugar mommy terms. Sugar mama. Like, will I always have Taylor there? And he's counting on her to lead him around like a little chihuahua to and around Hollywood. And of course, she's happy to do so, at least on the surface. However, I don't think the way he's operated himself in the public eye shows that he's not drama material. He isn't Joe. He isn't the last fiance, Joe. He's not Joe. He's not Joe. Looks or talent-wise. So, how long do you really think that she's going to go ahead and lead him around like alpha, beta? We have an alpha, beta situation. So I'm going to take my favorite love cards, my kitty cat deck, which is one of my favorite ones for love and romance. And we're going to see just how long will she dump him? Will she finally see reason? I mean, he's not like bringing in the hurrahs. He's counting on her bucks. Of course, he has his own dollars. But again, we're talking To a billionaire, what's a few, 150 mil? What is it? What is a few $1,000,000? And of course, he's counting on her getting him contracts and things like that. He wants to be an actor, an actor, an actor, an actor. But does he have the chops? Well, and also too, you know, the last time that he was on vacation from being on the field, he developed what is called a dad bod. A dad bod. Now, you know what a dad bod is. It's usually a little, you have a beer gut and you got the hips. All right. Now, granted, in other words, it's a little depressing to see an athlete get a dad bod. But anyway, he's been guilty of that. And then, of course, he has a drinking habit. He likes to put down the booze, and so does, Taylor. She likes to drink too. But she has a whole marketing team, which is always on her case to make sure that she is, the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted. And of course, she could lend it. She does lend it to Travis, but Travis rebels. You're not telling me what to do. When he gets cantankerous, he gets cantankerous. A big guy who's not used to being. He's hard to rein in. He's like a bull. He's like I run with the wild ones. Can you honestly see him being happily married to one woman? Man, well, that's first. And of course, it's the first for Taylor too. Now, but again, who is the alpha in this relationship? And then one thing too about, there's so many questions. I mean, we've seen a lot of characters about a lot of sides of Travis. They're not exactly fun. They're not exactly fun. So let's see now. Do we see Taylor dumping Travis? Now, what are these kitty cats telling me? This one says something. What does this cat tarot psychic kitties tell us about the relationship? Will she dump him? Will she put up with him going around bragging and, well, Taylor's got this and Taylor's got that? Yeah, Taylor has. That's the Q words. Taylor has. Now, I mean, it's very hard for an independent woman to have a big baby or someone who gets off script, gets off the subject. I mean, he does have a habit too of liking the ladies. He likes the ladies. He's not used to, actually, he's not very conservative. And he doesn't like to be, and he feels he's got to do winning. I mean, Taylor is like, they both have to be winning. And they talk about being supportive of each other. Yeah, as long as he was in the Chiefs, he was like this, he was bringing in all the publicity, and they both got everyone. I just bit my tongue. Now, I was going to say, they both got contracts somehow or another. I'm not sure, of course, but they made sure that facial recognition was put in all the games. I mean, you can go in there and not show your ID. You can just have register for facial recognition, and you can get in. So that was one part of the surveillance culture that they helped bring in. And so how many times can you do that? They did it for a year or so, right? Anyway, beyond all how marketable are they? They're overexposed. And now Travis, he should have quit when he was ahead. He's lost a few games. He's did this and he did that. He's not the winner. Taylor now, she has much more of a track record, even though a lot of her record sales for her last album, well, they had CDs, they had digital, they had, like albums, the old-fashioned kind of albums. And they were sold all separately. They had a lot of like peculiar marketing practices, which, you can look at, and it's kind of, and they have different qualities on each one. So there's a little something. This card is speaking to me too. Let me see. One more. We'll take one more. Which is it? This one. All right. Now, she could just do a Friends number like her friend Selena Gomez. Now, Selena Gomez, she married a man, Benny, who she's been with, and he has some rather kinky habits. He loves to photograph his poop. He drinks urine, stuff like that, you know? I mean, that's hard to take. And of course, I think she's too good for him, but that's just my personal opinion. And in other words, too, I'm also putting the same Taylor, is she going down by keeping his contact? So let's just see. Now, the first card we get is the Three of Pentacles. Well, there seems to be a lot of life in their relationship. Lots of life in their relationship. Three of Coins. They still feel that they still are viewed as a money-making couple, a money-making duo, right? A money-making duo. All right. Now, this is the whole thing, like who's deeming this to be, their union to be a money-making duo? AI, artificial intelligence, or the comments, or the people that are interested in them? Well, let's let that one go for a moment. Three of Coins. Now, the Nine of Swords could be like the ick factor, It could be Taylor thinking, well, gee, this man is dragging me down. He's talking about my money. Of course, everybody knows she is what she is. However, he's a jock and she's a creative person. That's a hard mix. I mean, can you really see Travis sitting down and listening to a night of poetry reading, or reading poems? But I could see Taylor doing it, but can you see him? And she has entertained his fantasies with her showgirl video and showgirl songs, some of them with the language. But that language is translating to a lot of people just like sex workers, like Serena Carpenter. I mean, the backside, the outfits, the language. Enough already. If you have real talent, you don't have to go in that. You don't have to act like you're a sex worker, especially when you're making in millions and millions of dollars. And then we have the Star. Trying to find some happy medium. I would say they hot and cold. We have a lot of hot and cold. We have a lot of like pluses and minuses. And then trying to find a happy medium. So we have here the Three of Coins. Then we have the Nine of Swords. We have a lot of rough edges to be smoothed out. And perhaps marriage is the way that they can be assured and comforted by each other. Or maybe he has some maybe she's thinking he still has some life in him for an acting career. That she would, of course, throw in, I'll come. That goes, Again, we have the Three of Cups. The Three of Cups. Well, it seems like she's not good. It seems as though that she would definitely try to smooth over those rough edges. I mean, somehow she's bought into this whole thing. I'm 35 or 36, whatever she is. My life is going to fall apart because I am successful and lucky enough to still be alive. Now, that's where a lot of the sexism and the BS that Taylor quite doesn't have to accept. She doesn't have to accept that feminine stigma or male-imposed, okay, now you're not a teenager anymore and your body isn't as hot to look at as somebody who is 18, 19, 20. Ha ha, ha ha, ha ha. Now that is something that Taylor has I don't think she can. She can't stand that routine. Who can? Who can? Because it's bullshit. It's so pejorative. It's so Americana, and it's so old. Old like our leadership that we've had for the last X amount of years. There's too many old people running the show here that kind of put their fantasies on everybody else. Not only their fantasies, they seem to put their Nickelodeon style upbringing on everybody else. When I ask, can the United States and its entertainment business as well as other things go beyond that crap? When? When? And the next one we get is we get the devil. Diablo. El Diablo. We get the uncanny tweaking. Well, we both know that there's an industry that's running the industry, put it that way. There's an industry running the industry. And once you're in, you can't get out, especially when you raked in like tons and tons of dough, cash, dinero, bucks. And since Taylor has been their cash cow for quite a long time, and if she desires to put Travis, be his sugar mommy, that's what will happen. That's what they're going to do. They're going to do every single thing to push ad nausea that this is Mr. and Mrs. America. Even though he and she are not the average Joe and Beatrice. No. In fact, from Showgirl, where do you go from Showgirl after Taylor Swift? After you've been listening to her cry over her heartbreaks, her boyfriends, and things like that, and then to becoming the life of a showgirl, aka sex worker in disguise, or peekaboo sex worker type things. Where do we go? Now, Travis, they're both overexposed. A little mystery is nice, isn't it, people? A little mystery. A little mystery. Talent is always appreciated. Beauty, talent, artistic maneuverings are very enlightening for the consciousness of the culture and the soul of the people. However, I don't think we can be very assured that that's the angle that they can take at this point. And especially not with Travis, but will she dump him because he has the loser vibration? Well, there's definitely some razor blades in their Christmas stocking, so to speak, or their Easter bunny basket, whatever you want to say. There's something going on because we're the Nine of Swords. And that could be basically, Travis's ways. Travis' ways, we've all seen them. Well, they're going to go through some kind of secret society initiatives or goals. Secret society, which is running, most organizations. You don't see the real backers, the real marketeers up front and personal. After all, there's so many things yet for the community to accept. The world community, the U.S. community, especially as we go more and more digital IDs, more and more this and more that. That perhaps the Travis Taylor duo can promote. So I would say, no, she's not going to give up on him yet. She is not happy that he is, in this loser streak, true. But she feels that she could somehow reinvent him. Well, that's something that is going to take a lot of strict rules. And the point is, will Travis be able to handle it? Will Travis be able to handle his new guidebook, his new guidelines? And can he be curve his Instagram searches of shapely, half-naked women down? Maybe. Maybe can he curb his angst about Taylor's more public appearances? That's a good question. And can Taylor take all that type of stuff? We'll just have to see. We'll just have to see. But right now, I say that yes, she's going to go ahead and do. She's in there like Selena Gomez type thing. And but there's some angsty stuff in there, angsty stuff in their agreement. I just wanted to touch base and see what is overexposed romance. Now that where it's at and where it could go, now that Travis has been on such a loose streak, and you know that Taylor doesn't like to. She doesn't like that. She doesn't. She doesn't really like all that could have, would have, should have type thing, does she? Mm-mm. What do you think? Do you think that she's going to hang with him, and that okay? So there's more and more money. First trillionaire. There's always more money, but you got to work it for it, and you have to go through those things, those kind of scenarios. And we can all just imagine what Travis has in mind for it, because he's already salivating over the fact that, I'm going to marry this billionaire, excuse my language, billionaire. And of course, I'm sure they'll have it's going to be worth his while. Of course, the thing is it worth Taylor's while to get any more involved with someone like him? And of course, they click on some levels, both the winning, but now he is not winning. And does he have the brains and the talent to go further, when he's not playing himself? That's the question. I would say that's what the Nine of Swords is all about. The Nine of Swords. Huh? But the Star card. And the fact that the deals that could be made with more towards their so-called public appeal. Questionable. And the deals that they'll make. Well, I'll leave it up for a while. If you have any comments, please don't hesitate. What do you think? Oh, I see. I see. Not quite the house husband type. Yes, he's not quite the. I. You can't see. Yeah, you can't see Travis. Travis Kelsey being the house husband type. Can you? I see him more. I mean, he likes the sex worker look. He's not into like father. No, can't even think of any of the TV shows that would make a. He doesn't see. He's not like the intellectual woman's. It doesn't fit like the Stargate type. Like the brain type or the military type per se. He's just not the type. He likes clubs. He likes drinking. He likes showgirls. He's a different type of guy. He's not a very mental guy. And can he read lines? Can he memorize? Can he acting roles? Is he believable? I mean, yeah, he could play, what is he, a predator, take the place of Rocky, Stallone, and things like that. How many times you going to have the alien invaders come and destroy the world? Those kind of movies are rather like canned, especially since we're so close to the reality of now with Three Eye Atlas and all the other things going disclosure and stuff like that. We have so I mean, where does that Travis Kelsey marriage to him, how does it benefit Taylor Swift? Tell me, how does it benefit her? I mean, can she handle him? Yeah, they could both be drinking around the clock. Mm. But I mean, he always had his football. Can you see him, managing a team, keeping in sports? He could be a sports commentator. Yeah, he could. But that doesn't give Taylor a chance to, they feed off each other. Still not running in the field. And then, of course, he didn't quit. Let's say he's at the end of his career. I mean, he didn't win. He fumbled. It was his this and that. I mean, you can look at the game stats yourself, but they didn't even win on their own home territory. And of course, we're into the whole thing of like his physical body in terms of like running on the field, concussion wise, banging into other guys, things like that. Things like that. So, where does. I mean, he is not the most charismatic person, I'll put it that way. And he's waiting, Travis is waiting for Taylor to open the doors for him. That's already like almost like being a crippled. You got like you sprain your ankle, you broke your foot, and you're going around on crutches. Now, does Taylor strike you as the maternal type? Does she the type who, of course, she can always hire a caretaker and things like that, but I mean, how supportive, really? It's not like, yeah, whoa, winning, 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 winning. It's not like that anymore. And they're not the type to like want to fade out into the glory fields. They're not that type. So it'd be interesting to see, but hmm, hmm, it's just a weird mix. A weird mix, those two. And especially since people are really rather sick of them. They're tired of their overexposure. Oh, they had a candy apple. Oh, they ate pizza. Oh, they walked down the street. I mean, they really like have saturated themselves in the public. So there's lots of backlash, not just a little, there's lots. Well, I'm going to end this reading